What's up everyone, Nate here with Microgreens Farmer, and today's episode is just going to be a Q&A. I'm just going to be answering tons of questions I get in the comments, through email, a bunch of general questions, so stay tuned. Okay, yeah, so it's just a Q&A episode today. I'm going to go through a bunch of just general common questions I get through email, through the YouTube comments. I haven't been able to keep up always on YouTube or on the comments, and so I'm just going to go through a bunch at once, and I'll put in the link below this video in the description, I'm just going to put like links to all the questions with timestamps. I'm going to try and do that at least. Also, if you are new to microgreens and wanting to start a business, make sure to head over to microgreensfarmer.com. I'll put a link below in the description for that as well. I've got the free ebook, I've got webinars going on right now, so hit up that link too if you have a lot of questions. Okay, let me just start with this email I got just the other day. This guy's growing down in South Florida. He's just getting started. He said he's not sure how many 10-20 trays to order. He's thinking about ordering 16 with holes. Do I have to buy the same amount without holes? So you're buying the ones without holes to put underneath the ones with holes so that you can bottom water. That's the point of it. If you're not going to bottom water, you don't need to buy the ones without holes at all. And we typically top water our sunflowers and our peas and the rest, and we bottom water. But you can bottom water sunflowers and peas as well, just as easily. There's a couple reasons we top water, but it's not a big deal. The results will be pretty much the same. So yeah, if you're just getting started and you want to simplify things, buy the same amount without holes as you buy with holes, and just bottom water everything. Just keep it simple. Alright, his next question is, as far as seeds, if I buy 5 pounds of peas and 1 pound of radish, does that make sense if I'm just starting out small? Yeah, that's a great first order. Those are both pretty easy. I told him on here, yeah, you could maybe even add some salad mix or broccoli into that as well. Peas, salad mix, broccoli, radish, those are the best ones to start with. Sunflowers are pretty popular, but they have problems. It's not one I would recommend you start with anymore. I used to, but not anymore. Okay, next question. He says, I live in South Florida, so this applies to anywhere where it's hot and humid. A couple questions about that. Am I correct that I can grow microgreens outside? And also, when I grow them, I'm going to do it in my garage. It's hot and humid most of the year. Like, how do you deal with that? So, the optimal average temperature range, the optimal range is like 70 to 80 for most varieties when you take all the varieties into account. But it's just way easier if you can keep the temperatures like in the 65 to 85 degree range, just for timing purposes especially. Like, there's tons of people growing in greenhouses, but if you get tons of cloudy, cool days, your cycles all slow down. So if you can control the temperature, you're going to have way more consistent production times, days to maturity, and that makes things way easier when you're growing commercially. So I said ideally the temp should stay mostly in the 65 to 85 degree range if you can do that, and it's nice to get humidity down below 50%. That just reduces problems with disease, and if your humidity is higher, you got to start seeding at lower rates and cranking up the fans, but it's good to get it below 50. Ideally 30%, 30-35% would be great. Cool. Let me get to the next set of questions. Okay, someone's asking me about lighting. What spectrum should I get? 6400K, 5400K, 3000K, 10,000K? Where do I get them at? So, I basically, we get all of our lights now from HTG Supply. We get the T5s, and we get the 4-foot 2-bulb. Just use one of those per shelf, and we get I'll put the link to that below in this video. It's also in my quick start guide, which you can download for free by signing up. And when we buy those from the site, we don't change any of the options. So it's 6400K bulbs, and we don't do any of the add-ons or anything like that. We just buy those stock. I think they're $50. So that's what I recommend. Just based on what I know right now, LEDs are like reaching the point where if you know you're going to be doing this for a while, it's probably a better thing to buy starting out with. but there's just so many junk ones and so many different options, it's kind of overwhelming. But they do have a little bit longer payback period because they're a little more expensive, so it's something to look into for sure. If you're just getting started and you're getting some sales, maybe you bought one light, you're getting some sales, and you know you want to ramp up for the long term, I would do some research, ask in the Facebook group or whatever about LEDs, and you might invest in a couple of those. Okay, this person's asking how long should they keep their lights and fans on? I get this question all the time. What we do is we set our lights on 16-hour timers. So they're on for 16 hours and they're off for 8. We turn them off at night just because I feel more safe sleeping without a ton of electricity going in my house. So they come on early in the morning and then they go off at around our bedtime. And yeah, that's what we do. And in the summer, if it's really hot, I'll turn them down to 14 hours just because I don't want that extra heat in this room. And they honestly don't need a ton of light. They just need enough light to green up. As far as fans, I just turned these fans off for this video, but we keep the fans running all day. And at night, it's just basically one fan running, circulating the air that's on oscillate. So a little bit less fan, a little bit less air movement at night, but more during the day when we got the lights going. So I plan on doing several more of these question and answer episodes. If you guys do have any additional questions that I don't answer in the rest of this video, be sure to leave them in the comments as well, and I'll get to them in a future video. Okay, here's a question on my Microgreens Fresh Sheet YouTube video. This person says they're asking if they have permission to use the bread and butter mix on their fresh sheet as well. You guys can copy that fresh sheet from that video and use it exactly. Use it all. You guys are welcome to steal the layout, the logo, and everything. People who buy my course get templates for all this stuff, but yeah, you can try and replicate it yourself. I don't care at all. And the bread and butter mix honestly didn't do very well. We don't offer that anymore. This person asked about, do you find using an electric knife better than scissors? A lot of people have asked about electric knives, and I've never tested them, but I've seen several people comment that tried using electric knives and says they don't work at all. They don't work well at all. So I do use this thing to cut sunflowers and peas. It's like a little handheld electric hedge trimmer. I have a whole YouTube video about it on here. But we don't use electric knife. We don't actually use scissors either, except for like very dainty varieties. Otherwise we're using just a sharp knife. This person commented on my video that talks about how to grow $800 per week worth of microgreens on one of these racks. So their question is, would you say that the $800 is 50% profit? So people mean different things when they say profit. Some people mean how much is left over after you pay yourself your rate, and some people just mean how much is left over after you pay the overhead. So I use an accounting system called Profit First. So I measure my profit as what I'm left over with after covering overhead and my salary. So it's not 50%. It's lower than 50%. It's our goal is like 10 to 15%. But this is like bonus pay. So this is what every quarter you can distribute this. You can decide to keep some of it. If you owe extra taxes, you can move it towards that. Or you can move some of it towards giving yourself a bonus every quarter. So that's on top of your salary. But a lot of people think profit, they're talking about like how much you're paying yourself as well, which 50% is a pretty good goal to shoot for. But I highly recommend Profit First Accounting if you're getting into this business or any business. It's freaking awesome. Basically every week you take all the revenue you got and you move it into separate accounts. So you'll have your salary account, your operating expenses account, your tax account, and your profit account. And you can create other ones as well. That's kind of more advanced strategies, but those are the basic ones. So that way you always have money in your tax account like when you need it. A lot of people forget like, oh crap, I gotta pay my estimated taxes, and they just think all that money they're getting is money that they get to keep. So it's great. I highly recommend it. I'll put a link to that book below this below this video as well. But then he said, how many people per week do you think a tray feeds? One of these trays. Okay, so people can't just like live off microgreens. They're basically like a shot of vitamins and flavor on your foods. So it's not about really feeding people. I mean, it is in a certain way. You're feeding them nutrition, but it's hard to just say like how much does a tray feed. I could eat 10 of these trays in a week if I'm making pesto with it, and I eat the pesto every day. But I wouldn't say these are what's feeding me. You know what I mean? So that's kind of a hard question to answer. And he said, is the online course basically a set of videos you link us to? I can't stand reading. So my online course has tons of videos that are embedded in the course. It's about 4 hours of video, but it's just got tons of downloads as well. Cheat sheets for 27 different microgreens, all kinds of advertising flyers, farmers market checklists, just selling to chefs checklist. Tons and tons of stuff comes with the course besides just videos. And there's not a whole lot of reading to do. There's supplies list. You get discounts to True Leaf Market seeds and supplies and just tons of stuff. If you guys are interested in the course, be sure to head over to my website and sign up for the webinar. I go over the whole course in the webinar. This person asks, where do you buy your clamshell containers and labels? So clamshell containers we get from webstore.com. We get several different ones. And then labels, we just use Avery labels that are designed for laser printers. You get way less bleeding. There are some people that use the little brother printers that print out specific labels. It's a brother label printer. Those are probably really good too. If I didn't kind of already have my system down and I'm working with a local print shop to print all those, I would maybe do the brother ones. But this person says, do you think cats would leave these alone? I have no idea. I would not let cats romp around in your grow room if you can avoid it. Alright, I think that's probably good for this first Q&A episode. Again, if you guys have any more questions, be sure to leave them down below in the comments. In the description, I'm going to put the link to my website so you guys can get your free quick start guide. Sign up for the webinar, go through that. Tons of awesome information in there. I'm getting really, really good positive feedback on the webinar. And what else? Oh yeah, I am looking for help with Microgreens Farmer. Getting to the comments and emails, like customer support stuff. I'm also interested in like branching this information out to the community, getting more of the community involved with Microgreens Farmer brand itself. Like I would love to find other microgreens farmers to feature on this channel, and I'm willing to like compensate you and working together on that. So if you're interested in like becoming the next microgreens farmer, I'm going to put a link to that below too. So a couple different job links if you guys are interested in helping me grow this business and sharing your knowledge with other people about microgreens and business and good stuff like that. So tons of stuff in the description below this video. Make sure you guys scroll down there, check all that out. As always, if you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up. I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.